There are levels of hooks here. You can have a question and have an answer, but the middle can't be fluff.
Super excited to dive into your work. It is so different than everything else.
Notice how it has one wing on each side and 2 wings total. Compare that to this insect.
It's deceptively slow.
Yes.
And the reason I'm saying deceptively slow is because the pacing of information and reveals is actually quite fast.
You know, you're one of the first people to comment on that. But yeah, people think it's slow, but really there's a lot going on. There are levels of hooks here. There is a verbal hook, which is in the writing, right? There's the visual hook, which is visually what it looks like, which is very different than the other videos people might come across. So it will cause them to pause. And then there is kind of like a tonal and a pacing hook, which we might talk about later, where because I talk more slowly and punctuate beats of silence with piano tones, it's much slower than other things you've come across online.
Yes.
Which means that just because the pacing's different, it feels different. So it can kind of stop you as you're scrolling.
That makes so much sense. Okay, so your bookends are the hook, which is like a question or something that is incorrect, which plants the promise of some type of answer.
Yeah.
Which then you don't deliver until the last second of the video.
It's got to be the very last thing you do, the last thing you say, and then it ends.
And why does it have to be the last thing?
Because in a way, it's kind of like an algorithm thing. Because in order to kind of appeal to an algorithm to suggest it to more viewers, you want to kind of build watch time or watch percentage, typically. And that's a way that I kind of do it.
If you look closely, you can tell there's 2 wings here. So this insect has 4 wings.
Okay, so there's a writing hook, there's a visual hook, there's a tonal and a pacing hook, and there's this discomfort, comfort kind of hook.
Yeah.
And those establish these questions and these unresolved mysteries that get resolved in the final second of the video.
Mm-hmm.
And in between is the learning and the education. And how would you describe what's in between?
You can have a question and have an answer, but the middle can't be fluff. You have to either draw them in with more reveals or kind of slowly lead them in the direction of the answer, always kind of going on that path. And you got to make it interesting enough so they don't swipe away.
The insect with 4 wings is a wasp. And the insect with 2 wings is a type of fly called a hoverfly.
I love how you extend.
Right? Not yet.
You think you're going to get it.
No.
It even zooms in.
Yeah.
And you're like, no, I'm going to get another 8 seconds out of this.
Yeah. And because you could have done it the opposite way. You could have said, this is a hoverfly, which is a type of fly. But your answer comes early. It's not at the end. You've got to flip them if you want to explain that it's a fly.
Oh, my God. That doesn't exist anywhere. Before you resolve this one, you've introduced a new micro mystery. What are the mysteries in this one?
So the first is...
There's a piece of us that can't stop because we need to know what happens to the cricket.
About the cricket.
Why are you doing this?
When I think about it, I kind of tear up a little because of how nice it feels inside.